overall, really proud of our guys. Extremely grateful to Buckeye Nation for one of the best atmospheres I've been a part of in 29 years, whatever it's been. So extremely grateful to all involved, most importantly our students. Champions for the game on defense, Tommy Shutt, who, by the way, just had surgery. He'll be out on a wrist. He should be back in a couple weeks. He's out for this game. Hope to get him back because he played very well. Had a sack, had tackle for loss. This was all with, by the way, a broken bone in his wrist. We found out middle of last week. It was his decision to do the best he could, and obviously a big game. He wanted to play in it, and he did very well. Really impressed with what's happened to Tommy Shutt. You know, he's been a guy that underachieved for a while, but really good family, good people. It's a great story for Tommy. Adolphus Washington played very disruptive. 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 tackles, quarterback pressures, and him and Bosa were very disruptive in their throw game. They had 25 called drop-back passes and only 13 their scrambles and sacks, and our guys did very well against that. Darren Lee, compared to a year ago where they threw it 50-some times, so very good. Darren Lee graded out a champion. Von Bell graded out a champion, and defensive player of the game was Joey Bosa. Just dominant. You know, we moved him around, played him inside. That gives a guy like Hubbard a chance to get on the field a little bit, which is he's earned that right, and played very well. Offense, 3 receivers graded out a champion. Michael Thomas, Jalen, and Braxton all graded out champion. Did not throw the ball near what I'd like to do, but they were very efficient, and once again Braxton continues to become a wide receiver and did a nice job blocking downfield, and just overall responsibilities as a receiver. Offensive line they were really the player of the game. They did an excellent job. Head offline, Jacoby Bourne and Billy Price all graded out champions. 2 tight ends again. Marcus Ball played his most extensive time at receiver, with Dontre being dinged up a little bit. His foot's still bothering him, and we have 5 receivers out for that game, and we're still very effective, and Marcus Ball played well. Nick Vanette played well also. Running back, Zeke graded out a champion. You know, just his, I think he's getting recognition. I hear he does. On Braxton's long run, he went and chopped a linebacker, and just his effort someday that kid's not going to be with us, and we're going to miss as much as his excellent running ability, his toughness and selflessness without the ball. Players of the game, 2 of them co-players of the game. J.T. Barrett graded out very well, over 90%. And Taylor Decker, our captain, played probably his best game. Played very, very well. Special teams guys that did well are special efforts for Terry McLaurin, which was great to see. Malik Hooker, he's a guy that's really embracing the whole opportunity that he's been given. He had 3 tackles on kickoff. Bryce Haynes did an excellent job down in the punt. Jeff Green, we had a couple injuries when Josh Perry had a sprained ankle. Book had some cramping issues and tightness, and Cam Williams got thrown out of the game. That put us in a little bit of a dilemma on the sideline with some special teams, and he goes and downs a punt on the 4-yard line. So Jeff Green, really appreciative for him. And then the special teams player of the week is the Australian. He's really, really good at his job. His job is to drop the ball on the 8-yard line, and I think they had 2 catches on the 8, and 2 other ones we downed inside the 8. Yeah, downed a punt on the 2 and the 4, and 2 fair catches on the 8. Very, very. And then I want to say a 56-yard punt against a very, very good returner. 56-yard punt that we forced a fair catch. So that said, about the quarterback issue, nothing's going to be announced right now. We had a night game, obviously. I've met with the recruits all day yesterday. I have not had a chance to sit down with the quarterbacks formally and review everything. That'll happen today. So I imagine I do media stuff every day, I think. So tomorrow, it's not keeping anything from anybody. Just to all involved, and to the staff, it's been when you meet with 6, 7 recruits during the day yesterday, and then we have practice and all that, I just didn't have time, so I'll address that at a later date. I'll answer any questions for you.
Front row, Dave. Coach Torrance Gibson, I don't think, was at the game. I don't think he was dressed. What is his status?
He's on the team. He's just, you have to earn the right to dress, and he didn't do it last week. I'm anticipating he'll be back shortly. Just academics and that kind of stuff. Nothing serious. It's just to go out there, you have to do a series of things.
You know, he switched positions from quarterback to wide receiver. From a football perspective, how's he doing as a
He's
wide
doing
receiver?
great. He's doing his production and grasp has been better. I'm not, we haven't made that decision when I say we, because he's going to be involved in that. What will he be as his future? Don't know. The injury set him back during training camp, and then obviously you dive right into the season. A little bit like Mikey Weber. Mike Weber is playing was playing so good, he got dinged, and then all of a sudden you're right in the season. Do you burn his red shirt? So those are all things we're going through right now. We made a decision with Jerome Baker. KJ Hill did not go in, but he's the next one. It's so close just because of this time of year. But Jerome did pretty good when he was in there.
Second row left, Ari. Coach, you guys are always trying to map out some national recruiting target areas, and New Jersey seems to be one of those places that you guys.
I love New Jersey. I've recruited there for many, many years.
Why do you love New Jersey? How do you feel you guys are doing in creating your little niche out there, and then competitiveness between some of the other? There's a lot of programs in that area.
Yeah.
To pick that place. Why is that so?
Well, I think it's very much like Ohio. I think the respect I have for the high school coaches, the seriousness that they take in not just coaching football, but you know, you get those really good New Jersey high schools, man. I think it's a lot like here. You know, about the attention to detail, about the academic, about the character, about all the things that you look for, and that's normally what my history is. That's what you get out of New Jersey, and that's why we love it.
When you have Michigan in there, Penn State, obviously Rutgers is there, and then Virginia
Yeah.
schools. It's a very competitive area for a place that you love and a place that you're trying to, you know, infiltrate as a territory for you guys. How tough is it to do that when there's so many other schools?
It's tough, but I think we've done okay. Probably not great, not good enough. You know, you got Noah Brown, who would have, you know, he's one of our top players. You got Curtis Samus from New York. You got a kid named Kevin Feeder that's going to be a fine player, offensive tackle. Oh, I'm sure there's another couple guys from Jersey area, but that's it, and it's always been Ohio State. You know, that Ohio State should be in the middle of that, and we're doing the best we can. You know, I shouldn't say doing the best we can. That sounds silly, but we can always do better. Because I personally, I love going really good delis out there too when you go to Jersey. So, for those of you who haven't been there, really, really good high school coaches though. Some of my favorite guys are out there.
Front row, Bill.
Do you know in your mind who the quarterback will be next week?
I think so. Yeah, and I have not had once again, we're just behind because of the night game and all that, and you might not believe this, but my whole day doesn't center on this press conference, so there's a lot of things going on. And I have an idea, but I want to make sure I visit with everybody and make sure we're doing the right thing.
Last year in training camp when JT went ahead of Cardale, it was simply because the offense ran better with him. Do you think the offense is running better with JT right now?
I think it ran better yesterday in the football game against Penn State.
Front row right, Austin.
Urban, if you look back to 2012 and what you inherited at linebacker, can you evaluate what the talent you had at that position compared to now?
2012.
You in the middle of the year, you
10 years ago, right?
In there.
Yeah, but that was injuries, and you know, and I'm so cautious to start. I'm not one of those blame guys that, well, they didn't leave us anything, and that's not. They left us fine. We had some injuries, and at one point at that Tuesday practice, I do remember that we had 3 linebackers out, and I went over and tapped Zach Bourne on, what do you think? And so you know, we were a little bit in ground zero Saturday too, when all those kids got hurt. And we're making that decision, trying to get Jerome Baker ready to go. So it's a very strong unit room right now. Kids all care about each other. They're performing pretty well. But I don't really like to go back to 12. And
It just looks like there's maybe a different level of confidence with the depth you have there. At certain points, Raekwon left with a concussion in one game. Darren's been out with
not a concussion, migraine. Big difference.
But you know, you've had to replace all 3 of them at some point. And
That's a good point. They got pretty good production, and I think Luke has done a very good job recruiting and developing that group. I would agree with that.
Far left, Matt.
Delicate is that decision when you have to make it during the season. I know you're going to be announcing it, but
Quarterback?
Yeah, with the quarterback, with the players involved, and you know,
If there's a change, it's always delicate, and that one's probably more because of the obvious. And someone made a comment, do you really care who plays quarterback the other day? And absolutely, we care. Care who plays guard. It's not number, 16 and number 12. Those are peoples, and those are peoples that we care about deeply. And we're not ashamed to say that. We might operate a little. This is not a business here. This is not, just we're going to do what's right for the team first. But does the take a matter within the confines of this building more than anybody will ever know. And we're extremely proud of that. Is that always the right thing to do? In my opinion, it is. So that's really the only opinion that counts. And I know our coaches all agree with that. And more importantly, our players agree with that.
I know you strive for balance, and going into last week, you had the exact same.
Yeah, we weren't very balanced during the game.
But how does that work as the game develops? You see, hey, the pass game's not going, but look what we're doing. I mean, are you just doing what it takes to win? Are you consciously saying we're not throwing enough, or what?
No, I said that to myself and said that to because I thought Ed did a really good job preparing our offense for that game. I can't remember where they were ranked, but that was a legitimate run defense. I mean, that was ones that all week last week you had that knot in your stomach, like, can we block these guys? And they had a certain scheme that we really prepared for, and it worked very well. And it was going and going well. That's why we kept going at it. And I just, I can see now, Hackenberg, I just have a lot of respect for him as a quarterback, too. He brought him back a year ago. My intent was to eat the clock, give it to Zeke, and let JT and just manage the offense line, and it worked pretty good. Is that what we want to be? No, we want to be balanced. But to answer your question, that was a game management. It was going well, and we're taking care of the football, and you win that game if you take care of the football and keep moving the line of scrimmage.
Front row right, Tim.
Yeah, Urban, and following up on that, though, there just from the press box, there seemed to be a zing to the offense with JT in there. I mean, did you sense that too from the sideline and stuff?
Sure.
And how much will that play? How much is that playing into, like, as you look forward? Obviously, he threw the ball well last year, statistically anyway and stuff. So, how is all that playing into as you look forward?
It all does, Tim. Everything plays into it. I don't know what else to say. It certainly plays into it.
Yeah. And the other thing, just JT in particular, have you been impressed by the way he's kept his mind on the game? I mean, yeah.
He's a very, very unique guy. And he's, I always go 10-80-10 is a principle that we use around here, and 10 are the elite. And elite doesn't mean great player. It means incredible work ethic and self-discipline and leadership skills, and he's an elite guy. And then there's the 80%, that's most of us. And that's just people that have to get up and swing as hard as you can every day. And he is certainly one of the upper 10.
Front row left, Doug.
You mentioned how well the offensive line played on Saturday. We know you had all those guys coming back. What have you seen sort of building up to that game? What was it that came together that allowed them to play their best game Saturday?
Well, the defense played kind of what we thought they would, was number one. Usually it's part of offensive and defensive football is if they're not tin soldiers. So you go out there and practice against something, then all of a sudden you get in the game and they're doing a lot of different things. That's one thing that slows down an offense line. And they played pretty much what we thought they would play, and we prepared very well for it. And
then with the experience you have playing two quarterbacks and with what you've seen the last 2 weeks with that, is there a part of you, is it possible that playing two is better than playing one? Do you keep the opposition on edge? Do you exploit the strengths of both guys? Could two be better than just one guy, the way it's going?
I don't know. Those are all discussions we're going to have soon. I kind of felt that way after we Maryland game, that we had a 300-yard passer and a very productive. That was similar to what I've done before, and it didn't go quite that way. And I knew it's not always going to go by script, so I don't know.
Last two questions. Far left, Lori.
Coach, you talked about how you like to put these soft goals with number of touches that a guy gets in a game, correct? What's the upside of that? I mean, I'm assuming you're not doing it for fun, so I'm assuming you get something out of it.
We have a big belief that scheme isn't what wins games. That's very important. That's not what wins. What wins are the dynamic players that touch the ball. Because it doesn't go there. There was a play when JT scored to our